happiness. So not that feeling goes beyond that a so-called just a feeling. It tends to create a notion of a self for that feeling. So that's why we tell, oh, my leg hurts, oh, my head is aching, oh, my uh, chest is burning. Likewise, whenever we feel certain sadness or sorrow, we tend to express our feelings in that way. So everything had been connected to a certain perception called me, I, mine. The pain is mine. You don't know the pain that I'm going through. So we usually say like these things. So you don't know, you can't understand my feelings. I'm the one who is suffering in this, uh, and I'm the one who is facing into this trouble. So you don't feel my pain. Likewise, we tell. So if you look at a tree, does it tell certain things? No. So even the tree goes run out of water, it will dry up. But even in that situation, does this tree feel a certain kind of a similar kind of a sadness like we feel? No. So what is this demarcation? What brought about this difference between a tree and ourselves? The only difference we have is the alive feel. So in other aspects, both living and non-living beings are same. So we grow, trees also grow, um, they breathe, we breathe, trees also breathe, and the other excretory functions happen within the trees. So do we. So uh, one day we will die. Same thing will happen to the trees, and all the materialistic things will be degraded. So same thing will happen to the trees. But only difference between this tree and us and ourselves is this particular feeling. But again, they produce their new generations. So as we, so what is this difference? The only difference that we both that mm, in between both these things, only we are having certain kind of a live feeling when compared with the tree. So this alive feeling is capable of bringing us the happiness, sorrow, uh, and um, doubts, and all these kind of feelings. So what Lord Buddha said is, just try to escalate and see. is there a truly certain kind of a life feeling within you? So you are thinking that you are a living being. But what Lord Buddha said is, what Lord Buddha asked us to do some sort of a mm, experiment within you to find out, is there a something called a living, a live feeling within you that you experience, as you experience. So it is so tricky. It is so it is so challenging, because Lord Buddha says, just turn to your internal aspect. Just focus your attention towards you and try to explore whether you have certain kind of so-called a, a live feeling within you. So uh, at a glance, straight away you will tell, yes, why Lord Buddha ask that sort of a question. We can feel now. So I can feel the pain. If I squeeze my hand with the with my two fingers, I feel the pain. So if my skin goes numb, so I don't feel that particular pain. And also, when you scold me, I feel sad and angry. So this is the way how we experience this aliveness. See, when you knock your toe against something hard, when you are walking, so you feel a terrible pain. So how can you say these are the evidences that I can bring about to show that I am a living being? Wow, it is pretty simple. Why Lord Buddha says to find out whether there is a so-called living being within you? It is so self-evident. This can be felt. And when I taste something sweet, I feel the sweetness of this uh, the food. Maybe uh, mm, mandarin, um, or we'll say pineapple. So I feel the taste. So from those things, I know that I am a living being. So think. So Lord Buddha further explained, further asked us to do the same experiment through these feelings. So what are the feelings that we have? Taste, hearing sound, smell, pain, anger, jealousy, craving, um, aches, uh, are, and also, yes, vision. So those are the individual feelings that we feel. So if you separate those feelings, you will find those things, right? Collectively, we say, because we are alive, we feel those kind of different feelings. But in other terms, we can say, because as we as we feel those feelings, we can say that we are living, we are alive. That is the point. Good point to escalate this problem uh, more deeper. So, so how you tend to feel the taste from your taste buds that are situated on the surface of the tongue? There are four types of taste buds according to the health sciences. Some receptors will capture the what do you call the sweet taste, bitter taste, the other one bitter taste, salty taste, and so on, and sour taste. So they are the only taste that we feel. So why is that? Because we are having the sensor for that. We tend to feel that particular taste. So think, if you don't have that sort of a sensor, do you have such a kind of a feeling? There's no way. No way. And other than that, so if you once you get a certain feeling of a salty taste, who interpreted that salty taste is there just because I ate a granule of salt? So from there, from where this signal came from? The granule of, because of I ate or I licked this granule of salt, I felt the salt taste into my tongue. So the salt, that salt is another kind of a perception, but the feeling is different. Feeling is the feeling that was captured with the tongue sensor, but the salt is a concept or perception. So how this granule of salt was formed? So from the eye sensor and the ear sensor and the contact, and with the contact sensors in the tongue or hand or in the hand. So these are, these collectively combines each other to form a perception called a granule of a salt. So you tend to think, because I have eaten a granule of salt, that gave me the taste of this kind of a salty taste into my tongue. A perception. So uh, you have been dealing with the perception. So in the same way, so think about an instance that you are tasting a mango, right? So mango is a perception. So how this mango was formed? By the vision, hearing you get the you got to know this kind of a object is called is known as a mango, and the texture of it, right? And smell of a ripe ripe um, ripe mango. So combining all these perceptions, you got a brand new perception called mango. And you are thinking, uh, because I ate this mango, the perception, I got the taste, a sweet taste in my tongue. The taste is different, the feeling is different from the perception that you dealt with. See, so so if the tongue, if someone introduced some similar kind of a taste without showing anything, maybe a juice which is similar to mango juice, without showing the particular object, so you might think, ah, yes, this has been this is the similar taste that I got when I was eating that particular type mango, maybe Karata Colomba, maybe uh, um, TJC mango or something. So, uh, so your mental image might be different, but the person who have introduced the taste to your taste buds has only done a flavor, has had only given the mango flavor to you. He didn't introduce a mango juice, only flavor. So, but in your mental formation would be different. So you think that that taste had come from that particular mango. So I have surely tasted that particular mango, but that is totally wrong. You are thinking, see, you are thinking that you are tasting a mango, but it is not. Oh, you are tasting a real juice of mango, but actually it is not. It is just a flavor. Maybe a chemical thing. Chemically, the chemists will create the same kind of a taste chemically, artificially. So someone introduce this kind of a flavor to your tongue. So you might think, wow, this is real juice from that particular type of mango. But it is not true. From that, can you understand? You are always thinking the world, the worldly object. So it is in your mind. It is your mind. You have never tasted a mango, but a perception only. The perceptions are there in your mental perceptions per se, the mental manifestations. So you have never eaten a mango yet, but a feeling is different. So what there are two things now: feeling and the perception. All these combine, all these things, these two things combine each other to give you a perception of the mango taste, or a feel of the mango's taste. So whenever the feel comes, another kind of a perception automatically keeps coming, that this is this because of because I ate, because I uh, mm, tasted this juice of mango, I got that particular taste. But that is wrong. So you have been always dealing with a perception that is there in your mind. You have never tasted a mango. You were eating your own thought. You are thinking. You are thinking. The same things can be applied to other feelings as well. So uh, if you can take the sound sound sensor. So you 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 think that you are listening to this explanation, maybe from the loudspeaker it is there in your own phone. So I'm just creating a scenario. So you are thinking that this sound comes from from your phone. But what has really happened here? Some kind of a feeling is generating within your sensor, ear sensor. To that particular feeling, you tie up a certain perception of phone. So you are thinking that sound is there in the phone. But how you recognize this phone? Through your other senses, vision, uh, from the contact. So with these things, another mental formation gets created within your mind. So you are thinking you are, just because you are listening to this uh, mm, sound, that it invariably give us notion that you are listening to this phone. But phone is there in your mental world, imaginary world. So see, the feeling is different and the perception is different. Same thing happens everywhere when you do whatever the things you do. So it is so subtle, but it is very profound to figure out these things before you understand this Dhamma. So Dhamma is the process or the system or the understanding mechanism of understanding the way this system was formed, had been formed, the way that system had been formed, the learning. So this is how the system, so this is the how the system gets formed. A perception gets tangled or combined with a certain feel. So these two things collectively create you a worldly perception. So just because that perception combine, just after combining the uh, perception with the feel, you get a certain feeling of, ah, I'm tasting the mango. There's a mango is a real thing. So how can you say it's a real thing? Because I can feel it taste. This taste has always a perception there. So this perception is not real. It is a mental fabrication. So what is that? So that's why Lord Buddha said, your senses will create you a certain perception to the perception, to the underlying feel it captures. So how this thing happens? Then that is a most challenging part here. How does this happen? How this a feel gets created within that particular sensor? It is so challenging. The science is there. So there is a certain mechanism. What is that mechanism? the resonance or the telepathization. This any particular sensor in your body has certain vibration, certain frequency. So it vibrates according to that particular frequency. So whenever a certain vibration, frequency of another vibration becomes equal each other, they tend to telepathize each other. It is like the tuning fork experiment that you have done in the science laboratory. So if you take similar kind of tuning forks with similar frequencies, so if you tap one thing, even you keep the other uh, tuning fork in a separate corner in the laboratory, it will resonate. It will start resonating. So similar kind of a thing is happening in your sensors as well. If this vibration tends to match with another kind of a vibration, so these two things start to vibrate each other just because the phenomena of this telepathization takes place. If this telepathization occurs, what will happen? Due to the vibration that the sensor um, produce, it generates, it contributes to generate certain kind of electrical spark within that particular sensor. That electrical spark is unable to give rise to that particular field. So the magic behind uh, this field is it is able to create a so-called uh, the earlier mentioned perception, uh, a certain perception. So if the perception happens to be the sound in that particular place where that is the particular place where your ear sensor gets originated. Whenever the sound gets created, that is the point where your ear sensor gets originated. So we can't say, so 2 ears are there in my lateral aspects of my head. So uh, they are my ear faculties. No, yes, for certain extent, but no, because you can see certain people have normal kind of earlobes. Everything will be there as normal, but they can't hear certain things. From maybe they are deaf from birth. How these things happen? Because these faculties do not resonate, do not get telepathized. That is the problem here with that particular frequencies. That's why they don't hear the sounds. Certain people do not hear certain sounds. But if you, certain animals may hear a huge range of frequencies, but we are only confined to 20 to 20,000 hertz. Our hearing is confined to the range of 20 to 20,000 hertz. But the dogs, we know this definitely, their range is more higher than us. because their higher senses gets telepathized to higher frequencies as well. That's why they hear. So this a conscious kind of a feeling will give rise to a perception of the sound. So sound has not come from anywhere. It is a quality that is there in your eye sensor, ear sensor, creating a sound. So nothing has come from outside. The sound had been generated within your sensor. Some deformity of a sensor might may lead to properly construct that kind of a perception. So that will lead to deafness. So it is so difficult to understand, but that is the truth. If see this principle apply to your eyes or ear faculty, same thing happens in your ear as well, eye as well. So if the vibration of your eye get telepathized with another kind of a frequency, this will create in the eye, it will create a certain kind of a feel. That feel will give rise to a light kind of a perception. Whenever the light perception is gets created within your eye sensor, that process is known as the vision. So if you understand this mechanism, it is not difficult to understand the light has not come from the outside. The light gets generated within your sensor. If one sensor is able to create a light, uh, produce light perception, that is the point where your vision takes place. So this is the Dhamma that you have never heard before, Dhamma. This is the Dhamma. These are the things that have been revealed to the world for the first time by none other than Buddha. Lord Buddha realized those things, the mechanism, the nature's mechanism, how this thing happens, how this vision takes place, how this hearing takes place, how this uh, smell uh, gets created. Likewise, how do these perceptions, light, sound, and tactile or contact formation or solidity, liquidity, temperature. So all these, how these things get created. So there is a common kind of a basic science behind all these senses. The science is the telepathization or the frequency matching. So that's why Lord Buddha say all this happens due to the vibration. So the vibration does not have a certain place. Whenever certain collision occur, a vibration happens. If this vibration is capable of producing a certain energy, that is the point where you feel certain feeling. That feeling is capable of producing certain perception. Nama Rupa. Nama means name, Rupa means form. So, if this vibration uh, happen, uh, if this vibration tends to happen more frequently, it will give us that particular perception as an existing kind of a perception, real kind of a perception, because this energy built uh, uh, within that particular vibrations will be able to give a certain kind of a feel of this existence feel. So invariably we tend to feel that perception as a real thing, because it always creates a certain perception. This field creates a certain perception. Nama Rupa, right? The name and the form. So, as when you drop a stone or an object to to the uh, calm, quiet water, what you would see after collision, you will see more ripples, several ripples uh, starts to spread radially towards the edge of this the basin or pond, right? It does not producing, it does not stop producing only one ripple. It will create, even the collision had happened only once, it will create subsequent ripples, more and more ripples. Likewise, the same by the collision will create more and more vibrations to happen. So if this vibration, then all these vibration will produce energy. So all this energy will amalgamate or come together to form a certain more powerful kind of a field. That will give us a certain feeling of the existence of that particular perception. So that's how you feel that light that you are seeing is as a real thing. So no one had did it, neither by you. It is the way how system works. It is the way how system work. So you can't intervene with that. That is the nature. Creating a perception after some collision. So if certain collision happens only, the projection will happen. If nothing has happened, nothing will be projected. So no perception will be there. So what will happen next? So that is how the light got created. And you know how the sound got created. The way how this sound got created. And similarly, how this, you know how this contact or solidity or the solidness or the temperature mm, or the liquid uh, feeling got created. So all these things will then combine each other. All these perception will then combine each other. This is also the nature. The first step is producing a certain perception. So different perception will then goes to another kind of a process. So that is the cause and effect Dhamma. So these products or the perceptions, these basic products will be certain substrates to another kind of a process. So after they get subjected to that particular process, there would be a brand new kind of a product. That is a brand new kind of a perception. What is that perception? The mango. So mango has all these particular perceptions, but you can't separate them. It is a brand new kind of a perception. But at that point, you can't find the separate kind of a feeling of the solidness or uh, the light you have seen and the sound you got through uh, the sound you received. So all these things are there in the particular perception called mango. So whenever so this combination is um, so fantastic, so interesting, because whenever you see a mango, you will remind its name. Whenever you see the shape of a mango, you will remind its name. And also you will get a certain feeling of the consistency or the texture of the mango without touching it even. So you see only the perception. You deal with only this perception, but after formation of mango, all these are there in one particular perception. That is the magic here. So if you apply that concept to the chair, so as soon as I call the name chair, you will remind without any delay, your mind will you will remember a certain kind of a chair that you have in your house, right? You know it is not a uh, li- mm, uh, it is not the you in that same perception you will remind its solid nature and also the color. So all these things are there in that particular. So what I said was the sound chair. As soon as you hear that sound, you get all these feelings along with that particular uh, perception. How does this happen? See, these are thoughts. So now you know how these thoughts are formed. These thoughts, your worldly entities, worldly objects, worldly relationships, whatever the activities, all these things are mental formations. So that's why I initially told you that you have eaten a thought. You were thinking that you are eating a mango. But with that perception, with that thought, an underlying feel comes along with that thought. That is the taste of the mango. So when certain tastes come to your mind, to your senses, that a kind of a projection will happen. The mango. Whenever the when you hear the word mango, you will get the rest of the perception at all of a sudden, and also that you might get certain feeling as well. See how your mental world work. See, all are there in your mind. They are mental formations. So that's why Lord Buddha said, Chitte niyati loko. You are living in a world that is created by your own mind. So mind cannot be found in your body, not in your brain, not in your heart either. So it gets created with the thoughts. The building blocks of the mind is thoughts. So thoughts, how you know how these thoughts are formed? From the sensory inputs. They are perceptions. So you are living in a world of perceptions. So are these perceptions true? No. The beauty is not that thing. The image that you have seen through the mirror, up to now you were thinking that, you have been thinking that it is you. The reflection that you saw, your own reflection that you saw in your mirror, you understood as you up to now. But it is also a perception. You are thinking that I am seeing myself. It is just a thought. It is a mental fabrication. So think, up to now you were thinking that the mango that I have, the tasted mango that I have tasted that kind of a mango, and I felt such a feeling of sadness. I felt certain happiness after graduating from my university. But who has got that particular feelings? The perception that you saw in the mirror. It is also, your perception is also constructed through your senses. So what is this world? So there is no so-called yourself either in this world. It is also a projection. It is also a mental fabrication. So that's why Lord Buddha said, just try to explore yourself, and ultimately you will realize there is no such a person in you, or no such a living being in you. We think that we are living just because we have such a huge ignorance. We don't know this process of creating these kind of perceptions. So we were always dealing, up to now we were dealing with perceptions only. So these perceptions became true things for us, really existing things for us, just because we didn't know the mechanism how they formed. This is the system. This is the way how your chitta niyama works out. Chitta niyama means how your mind gets formed. All are there in your mind. All these things are thoughts. All these things are perceptions. You are thinking that you are a living being, but it is just because you have the ignorance, you think like that. After you realizing all this Dhamma, you will understand. It is not difficult to understand that there is no so called a self here. There is no so called a living being within me. If you are able to understand this Dhamma, it is not very difficult to live in this world. So initially I took certain examples like certain experiences, like uh, an instance where your toe got knocked against a certain hard object while you were walking. Yes, you got a certain feeling of pain. Yes, that is terrible kind of a feeling. But was there a person to perceive that particular feeling? No, feeling only. Wow, what is this? Now you know there is no person here. So, but anyhow, you felt certain pain. But where is this? Where is the owner? Can you find yourself in that particular pain, feeling of pain? Because with this understanding, you got to know that there is no person, there is no chance of to be there a certain a living being here. No, there is no kind of a chance here to exist someone who is feeling this feeling, this particular pain. So pain will be there, but there you there you don't find a person to perceive that particular pain. That is the magic now. So you can taste anything in this world, either mango, either salt, or whatever the drink or ice cream, no matter. But the taste will be there as taste. But there you can't find a person who is feeling that particular taste. Same thing happened. There are certain things that you see, beautiful uh, garden, beautiful flowers, beautiful locations, beautiful sceneries, rivers, water flows, every waterfalls, everything that you might see. But who is seeing? No one. There's no person to see these things. All right. Likewise, that will prove the Buddha's word. Ditte ditta mattam, sute sutta mattam. දැක්කොත් දැක්ක විතරයි, ඇහුනොත් ඇහුන විතරයි. So there is no chance of creating a self or ownership to whatever the feel you receive through these senses. Senses work as usual, but with the understanding you get to know that there is no certain kind of owner for that, for any kind of a perception that you receive. So this is the most beautiful thing you will find this in this Buddhist uh, doctrine. No self. So this is, now you know these things, but you still feel that that has happened to me. So that is okay. Let it feel like that. But this, don't be panic, don't worry. Let let this understanding, let this realization do the transformation within you. Give enough time, give ample time for that. The internal transformation will happen gradually within you, will start to happen gradually within you, because only thing what you have to do is to show your own mind that there is no person here. Now you definitely know there is no person, there is no way of perceiving certain pains, certain aches to me. So then you will perform your day-to-day task, day-to-day activities, day-to-day interactions, day-to-day carry out your responsibilities as usual. But your understanding will remain with you all this time. This understanding will gradually convert you to feel that particular non-soul state. It will happen gradually. Don't hurry. Don't be hurry. So let it happen. Don't even focus on those things. It will gradually happen. Let it happen within you. So what will the ultimate result? Everything will be there, but you would not feel even there is a person within you. Everything will be there. So that is the state of Nibbana. That is the state of Buddha. This state of Buddha could be achieved only through the understanding. That's why Lord Buddha said, Sankitte Nibbidaya. So you only attain to that particular state of Nibbana through the understanding this system or the Dhamma. What is this Dhamma? Cause and effect Dhamma, dependent origination Dhamma. So we can talk further tomorrow as well. So until then, good night and may Triple Gem bless you. Terun Saranai.